Hey, what's going on, guys? Jason here, and this is part 4 of the React MovieDB API series. And so in the last video, what we did was we basically set up our fetching of the data from the MovieDB API. And so now what I want to do is I want to set up the movie components. So basically I want to create two components. I'm going to create a movie list component, and I'm also going to create a movie component. So basically our movie list component will just render out our individual movie components. And so that's I think what we'll be doing in this video. So let's get into it. All right, so first thing I'm going to do in our components.js, or I'm sorry, in our components folder, I'm going to create a movie list JS file. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the, let's see here. So the standard thing, we're going to import React from React. And this will be a functional component. So we'll do const movie list. And that will be, let's see, equal to, this will have some props. All right, so movie list. So what will movie list contain? So it's going to be a div, and let's see, actually, so it'll be a div with a class of container. And we also want to give it a row. Let's see. Whoops, row. All right. So we have a container, a row, and for the next thing we'll do, I think we'll do another div, and we'll give it a class of col and s12. So this would be a column, a 12 column row. All right, cool. All right, so then looks like we got the basic setup. So yeah, so then let me remember to export this. So export default movie list. All right, so before we finish up our movie list component, I'm going to go back to app.js, and let's see. So so we know that we're getting our data when we run this handle submit function. And so what I'm going to want to do is, let's see, let me import our movie list from movie list. Cool. All right, and I'm going to render this component out in here. All right, and so remember, our movie list component is going to render out a list of individual movie components, and for us to do that, we need to pass in the movie data to our as a prop to our movie list component. And so what I'm going to do is, on our movie list component here, I'm going to pass in a prop. Let's see, I'll call it, let's just call it movies. So we'll do movies is equal to, and the movie data is coming from our state in our app component. So remember, we'll need to do this dot state dot movies. Looks good, and I think we're good there. So now that we have that, let's go back to our movie list, and now that we have the movie data passed in as a prop to our movie list component, I'm going to now do the logic to render out the individual movie components. So I'll need to do create some curly braces here, and what I'll do is I'll do props dot movies dot map, and let's see, and we're mapping through, so the first parameter I'll just call it movie, and then I'll pass in an I for the index. Cool. And now the next thing I'm going to do is let's see here, return, oops. So we're going to return an actual movie component. Oops. Let's see. So this movie component hasn't been created yet, but we'll go ahead and do that here next. And so for every movie object that we map through from our movie's prop, we're going to return a movie component. And on our movie component, I'm going to pass in a prop again. Since we're rendering out a list, we always have to make sure we add the key prop here for React so it doesn't give us any error messages. And I'll just go ahead and pass an I there. And I'll also add another prop. This one will be the image for the movie. So since this movie component is going to be a thumbnail, it's basically going to be a thumbnail with the image, and then below it will be a link to saying view details. So all we really need is just the image for this movie component. So we'll do image, and let's see, I believe it was movie.poster path is the property that we have on the API. Okay, that looks good. All right. And let me just import this movie from movie. Okay. All right. So then it looks like that's all good for now. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'll create the movie component. So we'll just go ahead and do movie.js. Oops, there we go. All right, so, okay. So then same thing, import React from React. So we can do our React magic here. And again, this will be a functional component. So it'll be, we'll call it movie. Have some props. Okay. All right. So this movie component will return. Let's see, what will we return? So we'll have a div with a class of, let's see, class name. We'll give it column and span 12 columns. Let's see. And if it's on medium-sized devices, we'll do M6. For large, we'll have 3. All right. And that looks good. And then I'll create another div. This will be the card. This will be the container. And let's see. So I believe, yeah, so let me see here. Materialize CSS components. All right, so let me just quickly look over here. So we're gonna mimic one of these cards. So let's see, I think, yeah, in my notes, it looks like I had it set up a certain way. Okay, so I think we have it like this. So we'll do div. We'll do class name. And we'll do card image. waves effect, waves block, waves light. All right. I guess I was mimicking this one. Yeah, well, yeah, so we'll just leave it like that for now. Okay, so now what we want to do is we're going to add a image tag. All right, and for the source, what I want to do is, okay. So I'm gonna add some conditional logic here because sometimes our API, or the data that we get from the API for the poster path or the image, sometimes some movies might not have a image to display. So we're gonna need to have a default image. And so what I'll do is I'll do props.image equals null. So if that's true, what I'm going to do is I'll render out image, and the source, let's see, the source I'll render out will be so this is a image URL that will render out. So let's see, and so this URL will be the default image that we'll use to display whenever we don't have a image to render out. And we're going to do some inline styling here. So we'll give it a style property, and in JSX the way we do that is we do so we add a style property, and then we'll set it equal to surrounding curly brace, and inside we're going to have another set of curly braces. So this will be an object, and then let's see, we're going to give this a width of 100%. And we'll give it a height of 360. All right. That looks good. Cool. Okay. So then if let's see, so if this condition is true, we're going to render out a default image, else we're just going to render out an image with the source being the URL that we're going to include here in a little bit. Give me a second. So this one will be, let's see. All right. And so we're going to use this URL. So it'll be http image.tmdb.org/t/p/width185. And this URL, you can get it on the MovieDB API on the website. So they'll give you so this is the actual URL that you'll need, and then from here you'll add the actual path. So they don't give you the full path, they just give you the partial path for the poster. So you'll need to add this to whatever path you get from the API data. So we're gonna have that, and then I'm going to add, whoops. All right, and we're gonna add some JavaScript in here. And remember, since we're gonna use some JavaScript expression here, the way we did it is we added backticks, so that way we can do that. So we're not using like quotes, we're using backticks here. And so let's see, so we're gonna do props.image. And remember, that's the image path that we get from the API data. Okay, I think that's good. Although I'm kind of wondering why we have this here. Let's see. Okay, so I think that's good. We'll find out if we need to fix anything. So export default and movie. All right. Okay. All right, so we're getting an error here saying line 5 expected an assignment or function call, and instead saw an expression. So what I forgot to do is I forgot to do a return. And whenever we write JSX, we have to make sure we return that in here. So let's do that. That looks good. And there we go. Let's look at movie data. Let's see. We might get an error here as well. Let's have a look. Parsing error, unexpected token. Okay, so we have, let's see, props.image equals this. And we have some styling, or we're going to set that equal to that. Let's see what the problem is. Okay, I think I forgot to close it out. So let's see. Yeah, I think I just forgot to close the image tag there. All right, cool. So that looks like that's fixed, and everything looks like it's properly imported. That looks good. We have our movie list here, passing in the movie data. All right. So, moment of truth. Let's search for some movies. And there we go. So we're getting our thumbnails here. Looks good. Let's see. Let me also add in a, let's see. Let me add in a link here for view details. So we'll add in another div dot card content, and I'll just give it a p tag, href, and let's see. We'll just give it view details. Okay. All right, that looks good. Cool. I think that's good for now. So we were able to create our movie list component, and then we created some individual movie components for each movie in our state. And now we're rendering out some thumbnails here. All right, so everything looks good. I think this is a good stopping point. And so in the next video, I may go into the pagination. I'm still not exactly for sure yet, but I think this is a good stopping point. So if you guys enjoyed this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. And if you'd like to see more content like this, go ahead and subscribe. Thanks for watching, guys. Have a good day.